Hello students, I welcome you all to Current Affair Lectures by Azad ICS Academy, and today we are going to look into the current affairs of 27th March. And before we go to the topics for today, let us see the questions that we discussed yesterday. Okay. According to the recent study, what celestial event is responsible for creating water in the early universe? So we have discussed that Big Bang is not the right answer. Formation of black holes is not the right answer. Collision of galaxies is also not the right answer. And we have seen that the stars over a period of time, they get converted to supernova. And that is when our, you know, water expansion basically happens. What happens here is this after the supernova explosion, what happens, the stars are basically made up of hydrogen and they're made up of helium. And when the supernova explosion happens, elements like oxygen and other elements are basically formed, and this oxygen will basically combine with the hydrogen and form water. So this is what we have discussed yesterday's lecture, right, or in yesterday's session. So this is the first important topic that we have for today, and that, I mean, the question that we had for today, that we had for yesterday, and that was supernova explosion basically helps in formation of water. Okay, which chemical element produced in the supernova combines with the hydrogen to form water? I also explained this yesterday that, see, for the formation of water, if you're even having a basic common sense of the formula of water, H2O, we all know that O is required, so automatically the answer is supposed to be oxygen. So this is how we are supposed to get the answers. And these are the two questions that we had discussed yesterday. Today, we are going to talk about two important another articles. One is related to new data keeps the search of rare subatomic mystery going on or going. Microsoft announces a new quantum computing chip, Majorana 1, claiming it could solve industrial scale problems within years. So there is a major open question to physics is whether neutrinos are their own antiparticle, and the best way to confirm it is by observing a very rare form of radioactive decay called as neutrinoless double beta decay. A Amore experiment in South Korea is looking for it in molybdenum 100 atoms. So they're trying to do this kind of experiment. Now, what is this experiment? What are they trying to do? All of that we will see. The first important thing is last month, okay? So last month, that is, Microsoft has announced a new quantum computing chip, and the name of the chip is called as Majorana 1. It is a Majorana 1 that is expected would realize quantum computing capabilities and resolve meaningful industrial scale problems in years, not decades. Independent scientists soon raised doubts about the claim. Okay, so grandiose is it is, but also acknowledged Microsoft has taken a great challenge to build such a chip, and efforts in direction could not and should not be written for altogether. So let us understand what is this Majorana chip. Okay, it is a quantum computing chip. It is developed by Microsoft. Okay, now what are we trying to do, and what is this chip basically going to do? This chip is designed to accelerate advancement in the quantum computing. So hence, see, here the topic that we have to discuss here is about the quantum computing. And this is a topic of science and technology, and we will discuss about this. Quantum computing is, a kind of technology where we are using qubits, right? And it uses two important properties like superposition and entanglement, right? We'll discuss more about this when we are doing science and technology static part. It is a part of a static part here, right? But understand that quantum computing is something that they want to come up with, right? So it aims to enable quantum computer capable for solving complex industrial scale problems in the short time frame. So we want to solve all the industrial related problems in a very short time. So if they ask you, Majorana is basically for what? It is for solving the problems of industries. The chip is based on Majorana particle, a unique type of a subatomic particle which has unusual properties. So the name itself is Majorana. It is one of the property, okay, or Majorana particle is having its own antiparticles, okay, or it is a kind of a subatomic particle, okay, with unusual property. So what is the unique feature? They are having their own antiparticles, means two of them inhalate each other upon interaction. So basically what happens here is they are having their own property, and when you try to mix them, they inhalate, or So if two of them meet, they will annihilate each other in the flash of energy. So what does this basically mean? So let us understand this first. See, first understand what is the meaning of an antiparticle. So if there is a particle, okay, and it has got positive charge, antiparticle would be the same thing but with a negative charge. Okay, and annihilate means if you take this positive and this negative charge, okay, if you take a Mojoran's positive charge and Mojorana's negative charge, and if you try to collide them with each other, both of them are going to get destroyed. And that process, if they collide with each other, they're going to get destroyed, is called as annihilation or annihilate each other. This is what it tries to say, right? So scientific significance. If successful, Majorana 1 could contribute to more stable and error-resistant quantum computing. So if we are able to use this particle properly, I think we can come up with something which is called as more error-resistant quantum computing. So future impact would be that we will be revolutionizing the computing by overcoming current computing errors. So whatever quantum errors that we have right now, all of that is going to be, basically going to be resolved. Okay. So one of the open question is contemporary physics where neutrinos are Majorama particles. Neutrinos everywhere. So neutrinos are the second most abundant subparticles present in the universe after photons. So you need to understand photons. After photons, second something that are present are neutrinos. These particles, the particles, photons are nothing but the particles of light. They are produced in copious amount of during the Big Bang event. They produce a radioactive decay when the massive star explode and the cosmic rays strike the Earth atmosphere. So this all is not required for your UPSC point of view or from for your prelims point of view. What we need to understand here is Majorana 1 is a kind of a new quantum computing that the Microsoft is coming up with. And what is the major aim of this is to reduce the errors that are there in the quantum computing right now and come up with the proper quantum computing, evolution, right? So this is something that we need to understand. The next important topic that we have for today here is mass bleaching drains life from Australian relief. Scientists have recorded an unpredicted mass bleaching event of Australia's western coast affecting the Ningalo Lu Ningaloo reef. So here we have to understand what is this corals and why are they important. See, corals basically now you can see this photo. This is actually a bleached coral. Bleached coral means you can only see the white color corals with the skeleton. So there are two organisms which are going to stay. That is, one is the corals and another is going to be the zooxanthellae which are there. Okay, there will be something called polyps and there'll be zooxanthellae or xanthellae, you can say. There'll be some kind of algae and these polyps are going to stay together. These zooxanthellae are going to give good colors, or algae are going to give good colors, beautiful colors to these corals. Okay, but what happens here is if the temperature of this particular ocean is going beyond, and if this corals, see what happens here is these algae are very sensitive, okay, and if they are not able to hold on to that particular temperature, they will leave this and polyp and go away. Okay, they will leave this and go away, and whenever this color is gone, what is left behind is your skeleton like structure, and this is called bleaching. Okay, so this kind of thing is happening, and this shows that the environmental impact is not good, or maybe there is pollution or there is stress in the environment. If the corals are going, I mean, if the coral bleaching is happening, that means there is a problem with the environment. This is what we have to understand. So first, let us understand a little bit about corals, because corals are very, very important. Okay. And maybe questions may come on this as well. Okay. Now see, there is a relation called symbiosis. That is nothing but both organisms stay together. What are the two organisms that stay together? Corals are made up of genetically identified organisms, which are called as polyps. I've already written it here. Okay. And along with these polyps, okay, these polyps have a microscopic algae and they are called as zooxanthellae. Okay. Zooxanthellae. Okay. Living within their tissues. The corals and algae have a mutual. So these polyps and these are algae and these corals have a mutual kind of understanding. Okay. The corals provide zooxanthellae with a component necessary for photosynthesis. See, whatever is necessary for photosynthesis, all those materials are given by these polyps or these corals, you can say, to the zooxanthellae, and zooxanthellae will be able to prepare their own food. Okay. And with this, whatever the own food is prepared, that is given to the polyps as well. I mean, they are staying together with one giving the resources, another making the food, something like that. So in return, the zooxanthellae supply the coral with the organic products of photosynthesis like carbohydrates, okay, which the corals are used for making their skeleton. So you can see the skeleton. The skeleton is basically made up of the calcium carbonate skeletons. In addition to provide corals with the essential nutrients, zooxanthellae are responsible for unique and beautiful colors to the corals as well. So zooxanthellae, as I told you, these are nothing but these are the algae. Okay, these give beautiful colors to this particular, corals. Now, this is a clarity that you need to understand. So if there is a stress in the environment, okay, so for example, what happens here is sometimes because of too much increase in the rise of the water temperature, or if there is too much of pollution there, then that case, there will be a stress that will be on algae, and algae will leave the polyp and go. Okay, and that process where the colorful algae is leaving the polyp and it looks like as if the color is gone. So if you take a cloth and if you put bleach to it, the color basically fades away. So that is the reason it's called mass bleaching, or you can say coral bleaching, right? So this is now what's happening here. And what are the causes that they say? Okay, so here you can see that is unprecedented mass bleaching event that have occurred in the offshore of Australian western coast. Scientists said Wednesday, turning huge chunks of celebrated reef system is skull dull white or skilly dull white. A month, a months along marine heat waves has cooked the prawn Ningaloo reef. Ocean scientist Kate Quigley said part of the World Heritage listed marine park renowned for vibrant corals and migrated whale sharks. So here you need to understand that what is the reason for this. A prolonged marine heat waves have occurred in the ocean temperature, and significantly there is a rise in the temperature. And the bleaching is widespread effectively. Various coral species extended deep in the reef, not just the surface. So this is 300 meters. So you can see the bleaching has taken around the western coast of the Australia, and around 300 kilometers, and this is one of the largest fringing reef in the world. There are different types of coral reefs. This is one of the kind of a fringing reef that we have. Okay. And it is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So that is very, very important. This is a very important UNESCO World Heritage Site. The unfolding mass bleaching looked at worse than 2011. So 2011, whatever happened more than that, this is worst. Okay. That's what they're trying to say. Scientists have believed that this is more worst, and ocean waves of Western Australia have been up to 3 degrees Celsius warmer than the average in recent months. So you can see that the 3 degrees Celsius more temperature is there, and that is one of the reasons why there is this rising temperature should short the past, that is bleaching threshold. Sometimes in the mid-January, according to the monitoring by USA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that is NOAA, right? So the water temperature surpassed this particular bleaching, whatever threshold is there, and that is the reason why this has happened. And impact on corals, warm temperature forces the corals to expel the algae and give out the color, turning them white. I already told you that whenever there is a stress in the environment, whenever there is too much of temperature or something like that, that is when the algae will not stay. They will leave that particular polyp and they go away. Okay, that is basically coral bleaching. Bleaching is a sickness, but it does not mean outrageous death. Okay, a scientist research in the environment focused majoritarily on Mediro Foundation, not required here, but we need to understand that it's just a sickness, it's not the death. So we have to improve the sickness. If we are able to, maintain the temperature properly, I think the corals can rebuild again. But yes, this is something that is supposed to be taken care of. This is something that needs to be addressed properly, because this is a sign of a climate change, as well as the going off coral reef is not a good sign at all for the environment in any condition. So let us see what are the questions that we have for today. What are the fundamental forces govern the beta decay? See, this question, you may not be able to answer, but I'll tell you. What happens here is, whenever there is radioactivity, There are three types of decay. One is alpha decay, another is beta decay, and another is gamma decay. Okay. And when these decays are happening, which force is involved? See, understand gravitational force is nothing to do with these decays. Electromagnetic forces, no. Either it is weak or strong. The answer is weak nuclear forces. I'm only telling this because I want you to do a little research on radioactivity, the nuclear forces especially, or nuclear reactions. I want you to do a little bit of research on. Now, what is the name of the reef that is affected by the mass bleaching event in the Australian Western Coast? I think this you can easily answer. Try to put your answers in the comment section. And if you have any other doubts, if you want me to, improvise my class, please let me know about the same as well, so that I can change accordingly and we can come up with a better type of classes that you require. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience.